you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Decent weekend? Coming up?
Gonna be working.
Yeah, right?
Any plans for December 8th?
I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out.
So what's the sort of mentality of the group now, reshifting your focus now to Atlanta?
Yeah, I think we enjoyed ourselves. Obviously, it was a tough game. KC gave us their best punch. Thankfully, we got a result. Some of the guys up top pulled out some ridiculous goals for us, so that always helps a little bit. But now it's just shifting to a very good team. Obviously, they've proven throughout the regular season that they're very good, especially at home. So we're going to have to go in there and take on a good group of 11 as well as 70-something thousand more.
So yeah, you guys got the 1-1 draw when you went there last time. Obviously, you're going to need to find a way to win this time. Someone's going to have to win. What are the challenges that they present and why they've been so good this year?
I think first and foremost, they've proven that they're a good team front to back. Defensively, they've been more solid, and as well, they obviously can hurt you on the break. They have a lot of talented pieces that can score at any moment if you're not, attentive. And ultimately, they enjoy playing out of the back, and they enjoy playing at home. And they've shown that. Even Brad has very good feet. So we have to be aware of all their players going forward. They play a very free-flowing style. They want the ball. And it's going to be a battle. It'll be tough. They're good. I think they present different challenges than Kansas City. But we're all excited. So we get to work another week, so we're excited to go in there and hopefully put up a good fight.
You guys were, there's ups and downs on the road, especially before that Salt Lake game, and a few road games before that. And since then, you've gone anywhere and been able to find a way to get a result. What has changed and what has made you so good on the road this
I think it's hard to put your finger on exactly one thing. I think we've shown that we can go on the road and play whatever game is necessary. Whether we need to go out and essentially press the team a little bit more, whether we got to sit back, whether we want the ball, whether we want to defend set pieces or make it a little bit dirty. So I think that's been good. And I just think our mentality has been fantastic throughout the playoffs. And I think that we've been such a cohesive group. And obviously that's something Gio preaches. If you listen to any of his press conferences, that's something that he's all about. So I think that we've not necessarily worked on it, but just basically said, we are one group, one heartbeat going forward, defensively, attacking-wise. And it also helps when guys can score some pretty decent goals. So that's always a little bit of an X factor that it's hard to take into account when those guys just have God-given abilities and just go out there and kick the ball.
Are you going to talk to Darlington before this game, and what's it going to be like to see him on the other side in such a big game?
Yeah, man. We've obviously played in some big games together. We won one in college together. D's a good buddy of mine. Obviously, I hope to go out there and kick him a little bit. He's a very good player and has helped their team a lot. He's an incredible player that can do basically anything that he wants. And he's brought their team a different dimension this year. I'll definitely speak to him a little bit. Just a little bit of trash talk, but once we get out there, it'll be good competition like it always is.
Has anybody texting yet? You and D?
We're saving it. But I will definitely reach out to him. We more recently, we've been talking a lot about Akron and the College Cup that knocked off Stanford. And I think there's someone inside that place for Stanford. So I'll be sure to bring that one up pretty soon.
You mentioned different challenges from your position. What are the specific different challenges versus KC?
Yeah, I think that obviously we saw in the first time we played them, Atlanta crosses the ball a lot. I think they had 40 crosses against us when we played them the first time. So that's immediately something right there. And obviously Martinez is an X factor in the box. Not to say that KC's forwards weren't good, but I think his goal scoring record kind of proves for itself, and that he's done it whether it's a penalty kick, whether it's through on a play on the counter, corner kicks. He's shown that he can score in a variety of different ways, and we need to be cognizant and aware of him at all times. And obviously, you have MVP candidate Almiron running around making things difficult. So that's something that's very difficult. And obviously, if you looked at, I think Bobby Boswell was tweeting about just kind of their playing style and how much they've really just hammer home playing out of the back. And obviously, when they have their turf, they have their big field, their spacing, their fans behind them, it's going to be tough. And obviously, KC is a tough place to play. We went in there and got a result, but Atlanta's just the trifecta, I would say, in terms of just going into Seattle and then KC and now Atlanta and hopefully trying to get a result.
Jeff has been a player that's sort of claimed the goalkeeping role for you guys over the last year and a half. How big has he been for you guys this year?
He's been fantastic. He's really come into his own. And I think that a lot of people will say with this staff, they've gotten better as players. The staff has pushed us from day one in preseason, and one thing they've stressed is just every single touch, all from training from the start when you get your warm-up all the way to the end of training. And I think Jeff has been one of our most improved and rocks this year for us. He came up incredibly big last game. A few saves. I remember one especially on Gutierrez that he made, and he had a few off corners where he just comes up big. And to have someone like that is fantastic. And obviously we don't want to have him show how good he is, because as a defender we want to try to limit shots and keep the ball out of the net as much as possible. But to have someone back there we can rely on is just it's everything for a defense.
And you mentioned the staff. Gio is playing in his fifth championship in 6 years. Let's get this right. He's won 3 so far. Whoa. What do you think that says about him, that he's been able, at the NASL, but taking that to the MLS level, to get to so many championship games?
Yeah, he's got a winning in his blood, it looks like, and I'm happy that it's here in Portland. Let's just put it that way. But I also think it's a credit to the staff he surrounds himself with, because that's been something that has been very important to him. His support staff's incredible, and they've changed the culture around here. I think it's very clear to see that. Even the video I think Merritt posted on Twitter this morning, just the cohesiveness we have in our group and things like that. And, that starts from the top down. And that's something that can't be taught. It's just something that you put a group of guys together, you bring those good vibes. They're training, they're smiling, they're laughing with us, they win, and they lose with us. And that's something that's just been new to this club, and something that's just given us a lot of life. And it's a joy to play for a staff like that. And it makes you want to win more for them. And obviously, we want to go out there and perform well for ourselves and blah, blah, blah. But, when you give the staff a hug and, are happy with the way they are and they believe in you and give you their all, and it's just a good culture we have here. The Timbers are something special, and, we're not done yet, though. We have one more, so hopefully we can get a W and add to that resume.
When did it click for you that the culture changed? Was it right off in preseason? Was there something that you thought, wow, this is different? Or
yeah,
when did it kind of really kick in?
It's tough to put my finger on that exact moment. Obviously, because with the first 5 games, we didn't have the greatest results and things didn't go well. So it's easy to be like, man, this culture is great. We just blew a 2-goal lead in Orlando. You know what I mean? So it's tough in those moments. But obviously, when things are not going your way, to see the day in, the work that's put in, and to see the change, and we go on our 15-game run and all that stuff, I think that's when it started to kind of click that things are a little bit different. Instead of crumbling, instead of just kind of getting down on ourselves and starting pointing fingers, we dusted ourselves off, looked in the mirror, and got back to it. And I think we started to really believe that towards the middle of the season, and when we started to say, this can be something special. And obviously the pieces were there at the beginning, but obviously when it's not going well, it's easy to get down on yourselves. But when it's going well, it's able to see the potential that the group has. And look, we're in an MLS Cup final. We had 2% whatever, and we're not favored, but who cares? You know what I mean? We'll be underdogs all day, and we'll do that role. We believe in ourselves, and we have enough cohesive belief in the locker room to go out there and give Atlanta a good game.
How has having Guzman in there consistently helped maybe with this run in the playoffs, the consistency on the road, just because he was in and out early in the year? How has he contributed or helped the back line?
Davi's been good for us. Obviously, coming back from the World Cup, he's been one of the most consistent people on the field. His range of passing and the freedom that I think he gives Chari to get forward and things like that is fantastic. So it may not necessarily be himself going out there and scoring 100 goals and getting all these assists and stuff like that, but it's a lot of little things that make jobs easier for everyone around the field. That's for me what clicks most with having him in there. The ability to switch, play with 2 feet. One of the most 2-footed people we have on the team. There's also a little guy that plays on the wing that's pretty good with both feet. But again, it's one of these things where it may not be direct result from his production, but overall I think he's helped us out in a lot of ways.
Coming into this year, it kind of looked like it was going to be a transition year for you guys. You had a new coach, had some roster changes. Has it kind of exceeded your expectations to be in MLS Cup?
You know what? The funny thing is, as much as it potentially on paper could have and should have been a transition year, I believe that we had a pretty damn good team going into the season. And I think a lot of people believe that. There was a little bit of turnover. Obviously, we got rid of D, and he's doing pretty well this year, I would say. But we've brought in a lot of good players that have played good minutes. And I think we've also done it in a variety of different ways this year. We've played multiple different systems. We've done multiple different things. And sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't worked. But I think that, everyone's gotten their chance at one point or another. And we've put ourselves in a position to win a final, to get a trophy. And that's something that we've been preaching about for a while. And, we have a lot of internal here, see that and see the quality we have. And, again, we may or may not get the respect we feel we deserve on a national level, but that's fine. You know what I mean? You can have the glitz and the glamour of a lot of the stuff on ESPN and the giant stadiums and all that and blah, blah, blah. But, the Portland community and what's going on here understand the magnitude of our team, and we believe in ourselves, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters.
Let's go one more, please.
You're right, though, that you guys did have a pretty darn good team last year, but this year a lot more of the offense has come through the counter.
Yep.
Was there a particular point where that just kind of evolved, or was that just something that was always on the table to begin with?
Yeah, I don't think we ever specifically went out there and said, we are going to counterattack teams and score goals. I think it was one of these things where that's where people show their relationships off the field the best. And I say that meaning a lot of times when these goals come, it's just improvisation and people running into spaces and that linkage. And when Valeri's playing Seba and it's a quick 1-2 and you see Chara overlapping and switching, that just doesn't happen. That's just they have conversations and things like that. And then obviously it's recognition of good players and moments and spaces and things like that. So, these guys all have fantastic relationships, and it's a pleasure to watch as a defender. And that's why you see me celebrating so hard, because we work our butts off back there to try to keep a clean sheet as much as possible. And when those guys go out there and score some crazy goals and celebrate, we're the first ones to be there because we're so happy for our teammates. And again, hopefully we can do it again on the 8th.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.